Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this video, we're going to talk about NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, and what this stadium has to do with the history of New York City Super Bowl wins. To date, the city of New York has won 5 Super Bowls in the era of the Super Bowl, 4 by the Giants, 1 by the Jets, 0 by the Buffalo Bills. And each of those Super Bowl wins for that city, New York, has a major parallel to this stadium, NRG Stadium, which we'll discuss, and more. Where we're going to begin is with the date that ground was broken for building this stadium. It's now called NRG Stadium. It used to be called Reliance Stadium, which we'll also talk about. But notice that ground was broke March 9th, 2000. 3/9, a lot like 39. The number 39 is of great significance to the city of New York. NY, the abbreviation for New York, equals 39. MSG, Madison Square Garden, gematria of 39. The name Madison alone has gematria of 39. James Madison once made 39 proposals on a date with 39 numerology that became our Bill of Rights. Our Bill of Rights are laws to live by. In the Bible, the 39 books of the Old Testament make up many of the laws that we still have to abide by in this nation and so many others. 39, a very important number to the Jewish faith, the United States of America, a Jewish-built nation, and the NFL is run by mostly a gang of Jewish banker tyrants. So anyway, NY 39, MSG 39, New York and Pythagorean gematria sums to 39. Empire for Empire State equals 39. The date New York was established, July 26, 1788. Added up digit for digit, a date with 39 numerology. The United Nations in New York is 39 floors tall, not by coincidence. And again, ground broke March 9th, 2000 for NRG Stadium. NRG in gematria is 14 plus 18 plus 7 equals 39. This date in history, March 9th, that's the day Biggie was murdered, the New York hip-hop artist. Biggie in gematria equals 39. There's a whole lot more. Houston, Texas in gematria sums to 181, just like New York Giants. And the number 181 is the 42nd prime number. NYC for New York City, N plus Y plus C is 42. NY is 39, C's the third letter, add 3 more, 42. Giants won Super Bowl 42. Their most recent Super Bowl win was 46. NYG equals 46. From the anniversary date that construction began to the date construction finished was 168 days. Not to be confused, it wasn't 168 days that it took to build the stadium. It was 2 years and 168 days. But I do find it interesting that the construction finished 168 days after the anniversary date because New York City sums to 168. This year will be Super Bowl 51. If the New York Giants won the Super Bowl, they would be 5-1 in Super Bowls after Super Bowl 51. Conspiracy equals 51. Houston Texans equals 51. They're hosting Super Bowl 51. Last year, San Francisco hosted Super Bowl 50. San Francisco equals 50. The team began 5-0 in Super Bowls. They lost their first Super Bowl in Super Bowl 47, the Super Bowl with the 33-minute blackout. And they lost to the Baltimore Ravens, where the Colts are originally from. This year will be Super Bowl 51, but the 47th Super Bowl of the modern era. Luck in gematria sums to 47, the QB of the Colts. The first Super Bowl was played in the 47th season of the NFL at the end of the 66th season. With regards to Super Bowl 47 being San Francisco and Baltimore, it reminds me that the baseball team, the Giants, moved from New York to San Francisco. If the Super Bowl ends up being Colts and Giants this year, remember that about Super Bowl 47, because there's a direct parallel there. The 47th Super Bowl, this year Super Bowl 51, the 47th of the modern era, which began after the first 4 Super Bowls. It could have been predictive programming for Colts Giants. So right now, the head coach of the Giants, who was hired this year on January 14th, he just turned 39 years old July 9th. The head coach, first year of the Giants, is 39 years old. How fitting. He was hired January 14th, 2016, a date with 51 numerology, just before the season of Super Bowl 51. The name McAdoo in gematria sums to 51, just like giant, the singular, without the S. If the Giants don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, if they don't win, even if they had an awful season, I guarantee you still that Ben McAdoo was hired because of his name in the year of Super Bowl 51 and for his age coming in to coach New York. Everything is done by the numbers. It doesn't always mean you're going to be in the Super Bowl, but at the same time, a lot lines up for this narrative. The date he was hired, January 14th, that date can be written 14/1, a lot like the number 141. His full name is Benjamin Lee McAdoo in gematria 141, just like the date he was hired. You know, how perfect is this? What else that date makes me think of, January 14th, 114, as it can also be written 1/14. The greatest game ever played has gematria of 114. That was the 1958 football championship before the Super Bowl era between the Giants and Baltimore Colts. In 1959, it was also a repeat of that championship. If the Giants and Colts met again in Super Bowl 51, it would be the third time they've met in the championship game, but the first time in the Super Bowl era. If you lose the and just go with greatest game ever played has gematria of 99. If you write out 13, it sums to 99. We just saw LeBron James win in his 13th season. This year is Eli Manning's 13th season. 13, often a special number in the world of pro sports. McAdoo's birthday, July 9th, 7/9, as we write in the U.S. The word champion equals 79. Will he be a champion his first year as head coach? Possibly. The last time he won a Super Bowl was with as an assistant at age 33, a member of the Green Bay Packers. And remember, on the side of the Packers helmet's the big G. Big G in Francis Bacon gematria represents 33. A through Z, lowercase, is 1 through 26. Uppercase A through uppercase Z is 27 through 52. Uppercase G, 33. The Packers, they acquired Brett Favre, who they just retired his number, just entered the Hall of Fame, from the Atlanta Falcons. He was the 33rd overall pick by the Atlanta Falcons, who play on the 33rd parallel. He was traded to the Big G Packers. And remember, Georgia, Wisconsin, the states where those teams are, the only two states with 44 gematria. Last year, in the week that had 44 numerology, the Falcons won in the daytime, a score summing to 44 points. The Sunday night game was Packers and Seahawks. And I'm up here in Seattle. I told a room full of people about who are totally skeptical of my work. I said, watch this. Tonight, the Seahawks will lose to the Packers, and the score will sum to 44 points. And most of the people in the room said, yeah, right, you're full of shit. This whole numbers thing's bullshit. Well, guess what? At the end of the game, the Seahawks lost, and the game summed to 44. The only two states that have 44 gematria, Georgia, Wisconsin, they both won their games with score summing to 44. No other team that day did. The year before that, on the week with 44 numerology, there were two teams that had scores with 44 points that won and no others. They were the Baltimore Ravens and the Indianapolis Colts. Baltimore Colts had won the Super Bowl 44 years before that season. Every week in the NFL, games are scripted to the point as tributes for things to come and also events of the past. And predicting what's to come, you have to realize what you're watching here. You're watching the person who discovered this. Nobody in the history of the world had shared anything like this anywhere before. When I started this work, everyone said I was crazy. They said if it was true, somebody would have found it out before. Well, look, each year I understand the material more and more. I make more and more connections. I reveal more and more to people. And all I ask is that you listen with an open mind and apply the knowledge yourself. I don't charge anyone anything. I do all this work for free. It takes a lot of my time. My goal is to wake people up to the truth of this world, what's going on, how sports are a manipulation of truly everybody, a grand deception. And remember, my channel, it's not all about sports. It's all about how the media's rigged, government's rigged, elections are rigged. We are living in a rigged reality that's meant to control us, enslave us, and it treats us very poorly all this time. So anyway, Ben McAdoo, getting back to it, born July 9th, 1977. That's a date with 112 numerology. This year the Super Bowl's in Houston. Houston equals 112. Remember, Andrew Luck equals 112. Horseshoe equals 112. Using Pythagorean gematria, Oliver Luck, Andrew Luck's father, equals 47. The big way, the name Luck also equals 47. It's the 47th Super Bowl of the modern era. Oliver Luck, the father of Andrew Luck, played his whole career with the Houston Oilers. Andrew Luck played his high school ball in Houston. I also pointed out how for the Minnesota Vikings, who I've been talking about since April, since Prince died on the 112th day of the year at age 57. Prince died this year, April 21st, 2016. That's a date with 41 numerology. Super Bowl equals 41. Prince performed in Super Bowl 41, won by the Colts. Tony Dungy had to sacrifice his son by the numbers to win that Super Bowl. Head coach of the Colts, first black head coach to win a Super Bowl, had to murder his son to get there. For the Minnesota Vikings, Prince is from Minnesota. Their star running back, Adrian Peterson. Peterson equals 112. He's from Houston. Bridgewater, their quarterback. Bridgewater equals 112. I've been saying since early this year, since February, March, April, that I expect the Giants to defeat the Vikings in the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl to be Colts and Giants. With the recent deaths of Prince, Denny Green, with the discovery of the Pawn Shop episode or Pawn Stars episode of Colts and Vikings and the date it was released on, I'm now torn on what the Super Bowl might be. It could be Giants, it could be Vikings. I fully expect the Colts to be there in the AFC. Another person who's taken the time to do follow my research and apply their own findings, they think it's going to be the Bengals. I think the Bengals are a strong possibility to make it to the AFC Championship, but too much lines up for the Colts for them not to make it in my book. I will be absolutely amazed if the Colts don't make it. I won't be surprised if it's the Vikings or the Giants in the NFC. And with regards to the Vikings in this stadium, check this out. I wanted to see if there's been any deaths in the history of this football stadium. There's one reported. During a Texans preseason game on August 30th, 8/30, remember football equals 83, against the Minnesota Vikings, an intoxicated fan fell to his death from an escalator. And you know what that really makes me think of is Prince and the song about the escalator, the elevator, connected to his death. Prince died on the 112th day of the year at age 57. When you write out 57 as a word, it has the same gematria as championship, the same gematria as Super Bowl. Very interesting, this detail about the Minnesota Vikings fan. He died on a date with 70 numerology, and Giants equals 70. You know, this is the kind of stuff that makes me grin. I fully expect the NFC Championship to be Vikings and Giants. There's just so much that lines up for it. I think this might even be a clue. We'll see who ends up winning the game, should that occur. What I also want to remind you with regards to stadiums is last year I was pointing out that Denver Broncos had the same gematria as Levi's Stadium. It was one of the many connections I found for a Broncos Super Bowl win, something I was talking about from October of last year. Denver Broncos equals the same thing as Levi's Stadium. John Elway played in Super Bowl 24 against the 49ers, who hosted last year's Super Bowl. Levi's Stadium's the 49ers Stadium, where they won. John Elway played against the 49ers in Super Bowl 24, losing 55-10. Last year, the Broncos franchise was 55 years old, so was John Elway. They ended up winning the Super Bowl, hosted by the 49ers, with 24 points. If you write out 24 as a word, it sums to 50, just like San Francisco equals 50. Broncos lost in Super Bowl 24 to San Francisco, then won Super Bowl 50, hosted by San Francisco. With regards to John Elway, let us not forget he was drafted by the Baltimore Colts #1 overall out of Stanford, just like Andrew Luck. When Andrew Luck was drafted by the Colts out of Stanford #1 overall, it sent Peyton Manning over to play for the Broncos. There's a triangular relationship between the Broncos, the Colts, and also Elway, Manning, and Luck. Last year, Manning won the Super Bowl. Will Luck win his first Super Bowl? Luck's coming into his 5th season. In horse racing, a colt is only a colt for the first 4 years of its life. In the 5th year, it upgrades to a stallion. Andrew Luck's sitting at 55 career games played because he had a fake injury last year, which is why they kept him out. I still remember the week of his first game missed as an NFL pro was a date with 13 numerology. 13, an unlucky number, supposedly. The score of the Colts game went to overtime, 13-13 that day. It's all a joke. It's all a joke. It's all a mass mocking. So, the day Reliance Stadium changed its name to NRG was March 19th, 2014, and this is a date directly connected to the upcoming Super Bowl. First, Reliance Stadium in Gematria sums to 58, like Freemasonry, like secret society. I predicted last year that Von Miller would win MVP because he wore the number 58. He was drafted 1 pick after Cam Newton. Cam Newton was the 58th quarterback to start in a Super Bowl. Very special number. It's the Freemasons who invented the NFL, football as we know it. So they went from this name with the Freemasonry coding to NRG, which has 39 Gematria, which matches the date ground was broken, 3/9. And what I assure you is they had all of this stuff planned all along, even the renaming of the stadium. The date they changed the name, March 19th, that's a date that can be written 19/3. A lot like 193, the 44th prime number. In the movie Oblivion, it alludes to the Super Bowl in 2017, which is the one coming up. Oblivion in Gematria sums to 44. This year's Super Bowl is February 5th, 2017, a date with 44 numerology. Oblivion 44 talks about the Super Bowl in 2017, which falls on a date with 44 numerology. If you haven't seen that film, Tom Cruise is the main character. He's reminiscing about the Super Bowl because it's supposed to be way in the future. He's reminiscing about this Super Bowl in 2017 wearing a New York Yankees hat. New York, the land of 39. NRG 39 broke ground on 3/9. From the date of the name change, March 19th, 2014, to the date of the Super Bowl is 1,054 days, or 150 weeks and 4 days. And why that's so interesting to me is because of this right here. Denver Broncos 154, Levi's Stadium 154, the Broncos and the Colts named after horses having this relationship. Is it a coincidence or is it truly a connection in the scripted Super Bowls by the numbers? Let's now again revisit 39 in the history of New York Super Bowls. I want to begin here with A-Rod retiring by the numbers. Just put out 2 videos on A-Rod's final game with the Yankees. In the 9th inning, they had him play 1 out at third base. Third base, 9th inning, 3-9, New York. It says the last time he played third base was in May 2015. May, the only month that has Gematria of 39. Again, we talked about how significant 39 is to New York. Now let's look at New York Super Bowls and the number 39. The first Super Bowl the Giants ever won was over the Denver Broncos, who won last year's Super Bowl. Eli, now the quarterback for the Giants, his brother Peyton, the quarterback for the Broncos. Peyton Manning won at age 39 last year. The date he won on was a date with 18 numerology. He wore the number 18. He played 18 years in the NFL. The first pass of the game was number 18 to number 81 for an 18-yard gain, a scripted opening by the numbers. The last time Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl 41 with the Colts over the Bears, when he won that Super Bowl, The year after that, Eli won Super Bowl 42. Peyton won, then Eli won. Will the same pattern persist this year? In a way, it seems too in your face, right? I mean, the announcers would be saying, what's this about? Peyton wins, then Eli, and now again? But the NFL is always in your face. Think about when the Saints won their first Super Bowl. Who did they win it against? They won it against Peyton Manning, the son of Archie Manning, who played his whole career with the Saints when they never won anything. They were the Aints. The Aints get their first Super Bowl win against Archie Manning's son. What a joke. In your face. So Giants won with 39 points, 39-20 that year over the Broncos. What do you know? New York 39. The next Super Bowl the Giants won was over the Buffalo Bills, another New York team. What was the score? 20-19, a sum of 39 points. Then what happened? The Giants, their next Super Bowl win was Super Bowl 42. Notice that they became 3-1 with that Super Bowl. This Super Bowl was exactly 31 days after Eli Manning's birthday. Eli Manning's birthday is January 3rd. 31 days later, the Giants became 3-1 in Super Bowls, winning Super Bowl 42, surprising the undefeated Patriots, who everybody thought was going to win the game. In this game was the catch with David Tyree. We're going to talk about the catch, which was a play that began at the 39-yard line, scripted. When the Giants won this Super Bowl, the score didn't have anything to do with 39. Notice it summed to 31, though. It came 31 days after Eli's birthday. The Giants became 3-1. The number 31 is the 11th prime number. Football is a game of 11 on 11. But it was won in Arizona. Arizona and New York are the only two states with 39 gematria. So New York got the win in a 39 location, another 39 parallel to the Super Bowl. The next Super Bowl win for the Giants was against the Patriots. This one was played in Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Colts are from. You know, think about Eli winning in Peyton Stadium. His brother. This game was played February 5th, 2012, a date with 39 numerology, and it went in favor of the New York team. No surprises. This game came exactly 33 days after Eli's birthday. 33, that special number to Freemasonry. This year's Super Bowl will also come 33 days after Eli's birthday because it's on the same date, February 5th. ESPN, the day A-Rod retired, they had up this thing, A-Rod's last stand in gematria, that sums to 167, the 39th prime number. Can anyone remember the Jets' Super Bowl win? The Jets' Super Bowl win was Super Bowl 3, January 12th, 1969. The score was 16-7 over the Colts. New York Colts, you know, we've seen this before. Giants Colts, Jets Colts. 16-7 is a lot like 167, the 39th prime, and it's no coincidence that's the only Super Bowl New York ever won. Direct relationship between 167 and 39. This headline up here, A-Rod's last stand in Pythagorean gematria, sums to 41. A-Rod retired just days after turning 41 years old. 41's the 13th prime number. A-Rod wore the number 13. He played 13 years with the Yankees. Very special number. His retirement by the numbers connected to 13 and more could be a foreshadowing for what's to come for Eli in his 13th season in New York. The day A-Rod was signed by the Yankees, February 15th, 2004, was a date with 41 numerology. Everything is done by the numbers. We saw A-Rod retire the same week as Prince Fielder, a week after the announcement by Teixeira that he's retiring. All of those men are connected to the Texas Rangers. You can go back and watch my video on what might be forecast for a Rangers World Series berth this year. In spring training, I predicted that it would be Cubs and Astros. Houston equals 112. It's the 112th World Series. The manager of the Rangers, though, is from Houston, played his college ball there. If the Rangers make it, that will be the Houston connection, the 112 connection. This Super Bowl the Giants lost was also 34-7. They lost to Baltimore, where the Colts are originally from. 41 points combined. Baltimore in gematria equals 41. Super Bowl 41. The Giants right now are 4-1 in Super Bowls. A-Rod played 65 games with the Yankees this season. New York Yankees equals 65. With the S exception, it equals 74. His day of quitting or finishing with the team came 74 days before the World Series start. He played 1 out on a date with 56 numerology. Out equals 56. It's not Joe Girardi in the dugout making the calls. It's Joe Girardi following the script. Same goes for every other coach in pro sports. Unless some of these coaches know gematria and the scripting, but it's not them. The source isn't the individual coaches for the team. It's the tyrant who own these leagues and use them as the grand distractions to keep the manpower of the nation sitting on their ass instead of fighting back against the oppression. So here we are. We're at Super Bowl 42, The Catch, one of the most famous Super Bowl moments by David Tyree. Notice David Tyree wore the number 85. National Football League equals 85 in gematria. Eli Manning's born January 3rd, 81. 1 plus 3 plus 81 is 85. Eli Manning threw the pass. Go watch the movie Jerry Maguire, Rod Tidwell. Tidwell equals 85. He's wearing the number 85 all movie. Same people who script your sports are the same people who script your news, are the same people who run Hollywood. They are the Zionist Jews. So let's look at what else is interesting about helmet catch. David Tyree has the exact same birthday as Eli Manning. They're both born January 3rd. That is strange enough right there. From their birthdays to the date of the Super Bowl game was a span of 32 days. It was 31 days later, like we talked about. It was also a total span of 32 days. And 32 is a special number. NFL equals 32. There's 32 teams in the NFL. America equals 32. The NFL calls itself America's game. The date of the Declaration of Independence, the date with 32 numerology. Helmet catch in gematria, simple English, sums to 98, just like Eli Manning. And the man, again, who made the helmet catch, the same birthday as Eli. It was also referred to as the miraculous catch, a play on the Bible. In the Bible, in John, there's the story of the miraculous catch of 153 fish. Miraculous in gematria sums to 42. So does fish. And this was Super Bowl 42. You know, a play on things by the numbers. In the Bible, 42 is the number. The original Bibles published were 42-line Bibles. If you open up the New Testament, the first 4 books are the gospel about the story of Jesus. The first book is Matthew. Matthew begins with the 42 generations leading up to Jesus, names them all by name. New Testament in gematria also sums to 42, just like Freemason. And again, this was Super Bowl 42, won by NYC. NYC 42. Here's David Tyree, born 1 year before Eli. Eli born January 3rd, 1981. David Tyree in simple English gematria sums to 113, like mainstream, like dishonest. Also in Jewish gematria, like fish. 113. David Tyree, the man who made the miraculous catch in Super Bowl 42. David Tyree, the small way, sums to 50 like America. 50 states, not by coincidence. Just a little gematria note. When you write out 153, the number of miraculous caught fish, 153 sums to 113 just like fish. Our language is so coded out. David Tyree, born on a date with 84 numerology, United States of America, 84. The date of the game was a date with 33 numerology as well. Fish has that gematria of 33. Again, this year, Super Bowl 51 will come 33 days after Eli's birthday. But look at this. Here is the setup for the catch, helmet catch. Look at where the Giants are. Look at where Eli's feet are, where he's taking the snap, right from the 39-yard line. The ball will be thrown, snapped to the 39 for the miraculous catch, helmet catch. Eli's going to have the ball snapped right to the 39-yard line. I guarantee you that was done on purpose. This is all scripted by the numbers. Notice also where it's being hiked from, the 44-yard line. 44, helmet catch equals 44 the small way. Eli taking the ball at the 39. So how did they do this? That's what becomes the next question. Okay, you see that they did it by the numbers. How did they do this? How did they make this miraculous play happen? How did the ball stick to the helmet? A lot of people don't like that I keep bringing up this point. We have advanced magnetic technology in this world. Is there a football that they can bring in the game that has a high-powered magnet in it? You know, that still flies like a normal football? I don't see why this couldn't be done, and I don't see why a magnet couldn't be stuck in David Tyree's helmet to have the ball stick to it. You know? You look at Eli Manning's face after this play, his face looks disgusted. He just got a first down and a chance to win the Super Bowl, and he looks like he can't even believe what's going on. Oh my God, am I throwing magnet-ridden footballs for scripted plays? Look how the ball just sticks to the helmet the whole way. Snapped from the 44, throwing from the 39. Let's continue. Last year on September 8th, Tyler Sash, former New York Giant who wore 39, dropped dead. This year the NFL season begins on 9/8. Again, Eli Manning equals 98. Helmet catch equals 98. Frank Gifford dropped dead after the Hall of Fame game on 8/9 last year. Then Tyler Sash on 9/8. I predicted that Eli Apple would be drafted 10th overall by New York. When you write out 10, it has a gematria of 39. New York City's the Big Apple. Eli Manning. He ended up getting drafted 10 overall. I wrote about this more than a month before the draft happened. It's also predictable. Everything is done by the numbers. The games are scripted by the numbers. The drafts are scripted by the numbers. It's undeniable. Here's the greatest game ever played, 1958. Notice from 58 to 2016, 58 years later, Freemasonry. Reliant Stadium. Greatest game ever played has the same gematria as NFL championship game. That's what it was back then. Now it's the Super Bowl. The Colts won the first one 23-17, a sum of 40 points. United States equals 40. The next one, 1959, the Colts also won 16-31. This score stands out to me because it's 47 points. 47 points. This upcoming Super Bowl is the 47th of the modern era. The date of this game, 12 plus 27 is 39, plus 59 more, 98 also. 98 like the number connected to the start of this NFL season, September 8th. Saw Frank Gifford die by the numbers last year. Frank Gifford equals 70, just like Giants. Died right after the Hall of Fame game. That was played between the Vikings and the Steelers last year. Johnny Unitas, who he once faced. Johnny Unitas died September 11th, 2002, 1-year anniversary of 9/11. New York ritual by the numbers. Remind you that Tom Coughlin retired, or was, Tom Coughlin out as New York Giants head coach. He finished his career with 110 wins and 93 losses, 93 the reflection of 39. The World Trade Centers were 110 stories tall. 93 World Trade Center bombing. On September 11th, there was flight 93 of 33 passengers. The first plane to hit a World Trade Center supposedly hit floors 93 through 99. The second plane hit at 9:03 a.m. Osama bin Laden 110. Same with Rockefeller. It was the Rockefeller family who proposed the World Trade Center project. Whole lot of coding. This offseason, we saw Gary Jeter, the former Giant, die by the numbers. Gary Jeter equals 46, just like NYG. Gary Jeter died 46 days after his birthday this year by the numbers. The date he was born on, a date with 99 numerology, life lesson of 45, both of those numbers connect to 13. He died this year on a date with 13 numerology. And again, Eli Manning will be in his 13th season. Died on a date with 29 numerology connected to football. Ritual sacrifices by the numbers. Gary Jeter wore the number 70. Giants equals 70. Frank Gifford equals 70. He played his college ball at Southern Cal. Southern Cal equals 46, dead 46 days after his birthday. This photo right here of him tackling a 49er, again, reminds me of that relationship between Super Bowl 47 and this year's Super Bowl, the 47th of the modern era. 49ers lost in Super Bowl 47 to Baltimore, the original home of the Colts. Also this offseason, the original trainer of the Giants died at age 98, that number. The day he was born on in history, a date with 70 numerology like Giants. Date with 51 numerology like the upcoming Super Bowl. Date with a life lesson number of 52, number of prophecy. Also matching his name, John Johnson. This year, the upcoming Super Bowl is on February 5th, 5/2. The date he died, a date with 66 numerology. NFL and Jewish gematria, 66. First Super Bowl at the end of the 66 season. He died on a date with a life lesson number of 39. Longtime New York Giants trainer. Also died on a date with 46 numerology, NYG for New York Giants, 46. The last Super Bowl they won was number 46. That date he died, February 28th. It's the 59th day of the year. 2/28, just like the gematria of death. Kill equals 59. Dead by the numbers on the 59th day of the year, and nobody would ever question it because he was 98 years old. But what I continue to expose is this gang ritually sacrifices people from a young age to an old age, always by the numbers. The word prophet has gematria of 98, like Eli Manning, prophecy 106. Eli Manning's birth name has this gematria of 106. And this year, the Super Bowl being on 5/2, February 5th, prophecy the small way equals 52. We just saw Denny Green die 52 days before the start of the Vikings season on September 11th in Tennessee. Tennessee equals 52. Vikings set to host Super Bowl 52. Prince said all we can go by in this world is prophecy. The deaths of Prince, the deaths of Denny Green, the Vikings former coach, synced up by the numbers. Right there, we're just looking at the two former Giants Super Bowl wins. This man, he died 33 days before what would have been his 99th birthday. Greatest game ever played, 99. 13 has gematria of 99. Eli Manning coming up in his 13th season. The story of this man's death, they got him working on Eli Manning's feet. Here he is. You know, this isn't that long ago. He might have been 98 years old, but he really took care of himself. You know, his age right here, he looks... I mean, I've seen people who are 70 years old who look older than this guy. He's already in his 90s right here. And also, just in case you missed stories like this, there have been these weird, suspicious stories in the media. Last year, I predicted that the Broncos would win the Super Bowl based off of a bogus car wreck story. Here's supposedly Tesla Motors, their autopilot program, having their first fatality on May 7th of this year, 2016. May 7th, supposedly a Tesla product killed a person named Joshua Brown. Tesla equals 57. The word kicker equals 57. 57 is our number that connects to Super Bowls. They said that the man who died was Joshua Brown of Canton, Ohio. Joshua Brown is the current kicker of the Giants. Canton, Ohio is where the Hall of Fame game is played. Notice in the article, it says this: Tesla driver killed in autopilot crash, said the technology was great. And they emphasize great. Great equals 51. We're talking about the year of Super Bowl 51. We're talking about a lot of things lining up for the Giants. Now here's a story about Joshua Brown dying by the numbers. And what I'm trying to get people to understand is the same gang who Scripture Sports, Scripture News, and each day they run bogus bullshit that are little riddles for events they have planned to come. Canton, Ohio has gematria 51 as well. This year, the Hall of Fame game was canceled in Canton, Ohio for only the second time ever. The last time it was canceled was August 7th, 2011. This year it was canceled August 7th, 2016. The last time it was canceled, the New York Giants won Super Bowl 42. Canton, Ohio also has that gematria of 114, like the greatest game ever played. Nikola Tesla, for Tesla Motors, has that gematria of 119, like Star of David, like All-Seeing Eye. Joshua Brown himself, born April 29th, which is the 119th day of the year. 119, Nikola Tesla, Tesla Motors. The date he was born on to date with 131 numerology. When you write out 57, when you write out championship, when you write out Super Bowl, they all sum to 131. Born on a date with 41 numerology, Super Bowl the small way sums to 41. Born on a date with 112 numerology, Houston equals 112. Here's that imagery from the movie Oblivion saying the Super Bowl in 2017 is the last ever played in Houston, Texas. Houston equals 112. 112 is the alt dialing code for 911. The NFL season for most teams begins this year September 11th. 911, 112, alt dialing codes for emergencies. I'm asking myself, Houston, do we have a problem? I certainly hope not. But when the day rolls around, I fully expect the Colts to be there, and either the Giants or the Vikings.